What is good, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video, and in this one I'm going to be talking about the one and only Tesla stock and what you should be looking out for the future of this company. I'm also going to break down what my price prediction is for Monday based off the price action we are seeing and why things I believe are going to get way better for Tesla in the upcoming weeks. I'm also going to talk about why on earth the upcoming week is going to be massive for Tesla and the market because we have the big FOMC meeting from the Fed coming out, as this is going to affect our monetary policy, interest rates, mortgages, and everything like that for many, many months to come. Now, before I break any of this down, before I talk about how this may affect Tesla and what the technicals are showing, I do have to mention a couple of things real quick. The first thing is I'm not a financial planner, so please don't take this as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button if you want to see more videos like this. It not only benefits me, it benefits the entire Tesla community as a whole. And the last thing is, if you guys can, please check out the Webull link down below and in the description. If you sign up for Webull, the link down below, and deposit any amount of money, whether it's $1 or $100, it's up to you. You're guaranteed 5 free stocks, each worth up to $2,000, and you could always sell these 5 free stocks for cash and use that cash to buy some Tesla shares for free. This is a limited time offer that ends in just 2 weeks, so please check it out to get your free Tesla shares. With that out of the way, let's get on with the video. Anyways, looking at the way Tesla is running right now, we can see that we're about 1 minute away from closing on Friday. I know I'm recording this kind of early, so I may be off on news and stuff, but there are some important things we have to discuss coming out for the week because we have the big old FOMC meeting coming out, and this is going to be massive. So if you don't know what that is, the FOMC meeting just refers to this big meeting from the Fed, the US Federal Reserve, and in economic terms, they control monetary policy, which in turn is changes from the central bank, and this affects our money supply, interest rates, the federal funds rates, mortgages, and all those things through their open market operations, the discount rates and everything like that. And this change in policy, the tightening of the policy, the rates at which they sell bonds and other things like that, it has a big effect on our economy. It slows things down. And this in turn is also going to affect the stock market big time. This is one of the most important things that's coming out. The next meetings are going to be on May 3rd through the 4th, but the big day is May 4th. So keep this on your calendars. Be ready for this because I do think this is going to affect our market big time. So anyways, when it comes to what's going on right now, we've noticed that inflation or the CPI data has shown that inflation is very high. I mean, if you look at the latest projections of it, one of the important things worth noting is the fact that CPI is not 100% accurate. I know that's because it's very contentious. A lot of people look at CPI and say, wait a minute, the average prices are not up 8%. It should be 10%, 20%, other things like that. And I totally understand. That's the reason why CPI is not entirely accurate, in my opinion, and also based off what many economists have found. But it is accepted by the markets, which is why it's very important to still use this because the markets, the stock market, investors, they need something to go off of, and they often go off of this. So one of the things that's interesting is many big firms out there are anticipating that CPI is actually going to start dropping and inflation is going to start slowing down thanks to what the Fed is doing and other things like that. Now, inflation, that is what is driving the market right now. If inflation keeps going up, the Fed is going to become stricter and it's going to hurt the markets. But if inflation does start dropping or the estimated rate of inflation starts dropping, it's going to be a lot better. So as a result, if you look at this right here, according to CME, you could see that right now the market priced in a 1% total federal funds rate. So in the last FOMC meeting, I'm sure you guys remember this, back in like March, the Fed announced a 25 basis point rate hike. That's a fancy way of saying a 0.25% rate hike, right? They're going to be increasing the rate at which they're charging banks money, and that's going to cause interest rates to go up in America. Not just America, but it essentially affects the entire world. So now during the next meeting, they're going to raise it again, perhaps by 50 basis points. So if you do that, what's 25 plus 50? The answer is 75. But right now we're priced in with a 1% hike, which just goes to show the market is kind of exaggerating. We're kind of exaggerating when it comes to how much we're dropping over this meeting, which is just a pretty bullish indicator, actually. And it's a signal that after the meeting, the market should actually start to unwind a little bit. It should calm down a little bit, and it should start to retrace to the upside going forward. So, what does this mean for the markets? Well, like I said before, unless they surprise us, unless it's a 75 basis point rate hike, we should be fine. So Jerome Powell, the leader, the chairman of the Fed, he doesn't like to surprise us. He has a tendency of being a lot more dovish. He does not want to rug pull the whole market super hard and cause this straight up crash, an insane crash. We know that about him. So I think it's very likely we're going to get that 50 basis point rate hike. And in anticipation of the meeting, the market could be a little bit bearish, but once it's announced, once the certainty is there, and once we know it's already priced in, the market should rally. So what does this mean for Tesla? I know that was a lot I just talked about. Hopefully you understand exactly what my points are. I talked about the fact that Tesla ran through a lot of these resistance levels on Friday. You could see we soared past 875, then we soared past 900. We broke past that 915 to 920 level of resistance, and we actually peaked at $934. Now, look at this from, let me see, the 5 day chart. This is a good sign for us. You could see Tesla is a stock that has the capability of running. I mean, this thing went from 821, pushed all the way up to 934 after Elon Musk announced that he is not planning on selling more Tesla shares, at least at the time I'm recording this. He stated that. So it's a good sign. Now, we did get this drop because there's still lots of confusion. The market's not super stable just yet. We also had earnings that came out from big tech, so it had its effect. So what's going on with Tesla? Well, Tesla dropped below 875, which has been carrying us for quite some time. It's around 875 to 877. We ended up closing below that, and that was actually surprising for me. I thought we would actually push a little bit higher, get a slight green day. We ended up being slightly red, down 0.77%. We're actually green in the after hours, which is very interesting, but that's actually a bearish indicator. So, what I think is going to happen for Monday is I think it's possible Tesla's going to drop to that 850 range, and we might actually get a nice bounce between Monday and Tuesday, and we could still be kind of stable. I would say we should be okay, but by the time we approach Wednesday, I would expect this thing to drop a little harder, and it's possible for Tesla to make it back in that 825 range as we approach the FOMC meeting, because when Powell speaks, we know the market generally just goes crazy, and as a result, I think we're going to be at such a low point, and you could actually see the same thing on the SPY and the NASDAQ. You could see the SPY has just been getting, destroyed. It's been just dropping and dropping and dropping. And we're entering the meeting at such a low point that I think once we figured out that, wait, things aren't that bad, the rate hike should be priced in if he announces 50 basis points, which I think he most likely will. We should get a nice bounce in the SPY. I think after the meeting, perhaps a few days after May 4th, hopefully the market actually starts to cool off a little bit, and we should get a nice push to the upside, in my opinion. So the SPY, it's looking like it's going to be bearish going into that day. After that day, it should be okay. So for Tesla, this is what you should be looking out for. I always like to talk about the key resistance and support levels first before I give any predictions, and that's what I'm going to do. So key things to be looking out for. Let me see this right here. Sometimes Tesla doesn't always follow these lines perfectly, but it definitely gives you a good understanding. So anyways, 875 is where we should have had support. We ended up dropping a little bit below that, which may not be the best of signs. That's an indicator that we could be dropping back to that 850 range. 847 to 850 should be some support. The next level of support would be 825 if we do drop that low. If we somehow manage to run really hard in the next few days, we have resistance at 900, resistance at 910 to 920, or around like 915. Then we have some resistance, maybe around 934 to 941. Like sometimes it acted like 934 was resistance, other times 941. But you get the point. It's somewhere within that range. Be prepared for that. So those are the key support and resistance levels. I mapped them out for you because it gives you a good understanding of where this thing could get those bounces. Now, what do I think is going to happen? So Monday's a little bit tricky because it's not the exact date of the meeting, but I think downside is pretty probable. I think Tesla's going to drop on Monday. We might get a bounce off 850. Hopefully, I don't know if it's going to be 850. If it's not 850, it should be around the 820 range. We should get a bounce. I would expect us to have some resistance at 875, drop a little bit. We might actually get a nice push to the upside and close a little bit green. I know it's a little tricky, but it's very possible for us to get a pretty decent close around, I would say, the 880 range. Then going into Tuesday and Wednesday, I would not be surprised if Tesla gets pushed down. Be prepared for some downside. We could easily drop to that 820 range again, maybe even lower. We could go as low as 800. It's unlikely, but it's possible. But once we get there, that's a very, very good buying opportunity, in my opinion. It's a good area to perhaps load the boat on something. If you think that you're bullish, it's up to you. I'm not giving financial advice. I'm trying to stay away from that, but I'm just putting this out there that that could be a good opportunity for a bounce. After the meeting, I expect this thing to push up really, really hard. And I would not be surprised if this thing makes it back in the high 900s or $1,000 range within, I would say, a week or two from now. This thing is going to push very, very fast. So be prepared for a few days of downside before a big move to the upside, because look at what this thing could just do in one day. Even though we were so bearish, right? We were so bearish. This thing went from 820 all the way up to 934 within a day. That's insane. It just goes to show that this thing can run really fast and it can catch you off guard. So if you're scared and you think it's the end of the world, don't panic. Don't be afraid. There's some downside, but I do think we're going to have some bullish relief within, I would say, a week or two from now. So it's going to be fine. Be ready. I just want to prepare you guys for this. I gave you guys my prediction for Monday. May not be perfect, but I'm sure you guys understand the other things out there, such as where resistances and supports. And let me just bring up just two more technical indicators. We did see, I think, some bullish divergence somewhere around here where we saw RSI uh, going down while we saw Tesla going up. But other than that, it's looking pretty good. RSI is still on that oversold territory, which just goes to show this thing could pop at any given moment. And then for the MACD, there was some bearish price action, but I do expect us to continue to see some bearish price action again next few days before a nice clean bounce and recovery, which I believe should start by mid to late next. I'm sorry, for the mid to late times of the week that's coming up. So, anyways, thank you for listening. Have a great rest of the day. Enjoy it, enjoy your weekend, and get ready for Monday because we have a great day ahead of us. With that said and done, Tesla looks very good, still very bullish for the long term, and be ready because this thing is going to get ready for a run. Just be patient. With that out of the way, Tesla to the moon, and peace out.